What's going on, Illumineers, and welcome back to the madness. And today we are doing the week 3 recap of the Set Champs, where we are celebrating with all these other players who did amazing things with their decks that they loved. And it's just going to be a good time. And you'll notice some weird things with this video. Turns out I was live streaming it. So couple things, but we'll get to that. You guys will see where I kind of have that realization right at the end. But with that, let's jump into the video itself. And it starts off with, well, I need your guys' help, okay? So hook a guy up. Hook a guy up. I need your help, okay? I need the imagination of all of you fantastic Illumineers. Need your help. I need your help, all right? I don't know what to call my group of Discordians, Mad Hatters, Lorcana runners, nobody. I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know what to call people. So let me know in the comments, or hit me up on Discord. I don't know, some kind of name. We call the members that join our gym, we call them Logic Tiers. There's a whole reason behind it, but I don't know. I don't know what to call everybody. So give me your suggestions because I have no creativity. But that's not the point of this video. We do have some amazing lists to go over, but I do want to shout out a couple things really quick. You know me, I shouted out the first four-way split. I shouted out the eight-way split, although I didn't have a picture of them. And we have another four-way split with the map. I know there's a lot of people, they're not a fan of it. This one of these individuals is Hummingbird Design Labs, I believe is her full name. You've seen her on Facebook. She does a whole bunch of daily pack opening, hunting for that enchanted. But I'm a huge fan of it, all right? If they want to cut up their mats, make a memory like that, make a cool mouse pad, all the more power to them, right? The whole goal here is just trying to have some fun, and they're doing it, all right? All these people, look happy. This gentleman, maybe not so much, but maybe that's his smile, but that's what it's all about, having fun. So let me know, are you guys a fan of it? Do you think it's a big giant waste? I don't know. I get why some people might not be. But I would never, crap on someone that didn't want to do this, right? If one of these people didn't want to and voice their opinion, then all the more power to that person as well. But yeah, other than that, we do have the Savari Zone 5K coming up, 128 person cap. That we now have the melee up as well. So we've been trying to wait for the player hub, but unfortunately it's still down and not operating well. So there's going to be a link in the description that you can join in on that. At the time of recording this video, we already had like 20 people registered, and it's only been up for like an hour. So you might want to, take a look at it, okay? But let's talk about what we came here for, and that is deck lists. Okay, so first up, we have my buddy, a fellow Delmarvian. Okay, that is Quan, and Quan is an awesome individual. So really happy to see this, although you'll see up here it says don't tell Cody. His list he sent me was titled that the deck list he turned in for the Set Champs was don't tell Cody, because he is a fellow Steel Song player. He plays a lot of green purple as well, but he's also a pretty good Steel Song player. And you guys would actually see his gameplay in one of my videos from the last Set Champs where we were in finals together for first and second. But Quan decided to take red-blue and was able to take first place with it against a field of, I believe it was a lot of blurple and green steel, if I remember correctly. But either way, I'm really happy for him. It's a little bit, we have the DKP burn elements here, right? What we see red blue running a lot of the sharks and the pirate's life, but you'll notice there's only 3 sharks, and he opts to run the Donald Duck. Okay, and I think the Donald Duck probably came in really well for him because of the green steel. So instead of running something like the one song that puts your discard into your inkwell, he just opts to run the Donald Duck. It's a 3/4/2, so that questing power there, helping against green steel. And I think it's a pretty heads up move, because we've seen in the local area some green steel players already doing really well. So probably just expecting to see green steel and opting to throw that Donald Duck in there. And again, it's just passive lore gain there. So yeah, the list just doing really well. The Maui's Fish Hook coming in, helping you take out, other manners, whatever else you need to take out. Makes Tipo a target, being able to take something out. So really happy to see him getting that first place finish, and we'll see what he runs for the next 2 Set Champs. But Quan is also the one that makes my magnetic lore counters that have gone out for giveaways and everything. So just an amazing human being, and really happy to see him take home a first place. Next up on the list, we do have Roses and Rainbows coming in, and they took first place. They wanted to say Naveen it was the MVP, and you're actually going to see that in another list later on that found Naveen to be the best card in their deck. And the list, really it's kind of reminiscent of what we see a lot of Habibi running lately, the Elias right up in Canada, and with the spins. So you'll see that he Roses and Rainbows opts to kind of up the Naveens, up the spins, does cut the grab your swords because that's an awful card for Steel Song. But I like it. Opts to go bare necessities over the world's greatest criminal mind. And that's something that I'm not against, right? Because both cards are going to be really good into red blue. One of the tougher matchups for the deck, in the sense that bare necessities stops the early ramp, lets you kind of get going before they can get to that Maui Half Shark, where Maui Half Shark is where you normally use that world's greatest criminal mind. So both kind of doing the same thing. But if you stop that early ramp of, red blue, then that can be really impactful as well. Meanwhile, bare necessities, it's going to be really impactful against green steel in a different way, again, that world's greatest criminal mind would be, because world's greatest criminal mind gives you an easy answer to Pete. But bare necessities lets you rip out some of those songs. Maybe they don't get to shift Diablo, all kinds of different things. So just different ways to go about it. And of course, we're running the Sonic Warriors over the Cindy's. Dodging the Steel Song, World's Greatest Criminal Mind, also just really good into a lot of different decks. A lot of these beatdown decks like Purple Steel or Churna Dogs, things like that, and a great Rapunzel target. So a really well-rounded deck, one that I did mess around with a little bit, and I enjoyed it. I think Ursula over Troubadour is probably a pretty good move here because you are lower on the Lawrences. And where you're lower on the Lawrences, you need those good Rapunzel targets. So going Ursula over Troubadour, I think, is the right move because you're also not running Daisy. So just no good Rapunzel value until you get the Robin Hood down or the Aerial Sonic Warrior. So heads up move there. I like the list. Give it a try for sure. It's a very well-rounded list. Remember, though, you are running these 3 Naveens, so you're not running Daisies. Daisy's a little bit easier to get out, right? But Naveen, where you can kind of get stuck with that, you can kind of brick with it. At the same time, if you get those Naveens down, it's doing some really powerful things. So I'd say give this list a try. Next up, we do have Taylor Swift, fellow Flower Farm. Shout out to JDRR. That's his team that he's kind of put together. A community, I think, is a better name. You know what? Team. We have an ICL team now. So huge shout out to them. What was it, last week? They got their first win against Southside Gaming, right? So really good job to that, to the fellow Flower Farm members. But Taylor Swift, I was actually on here for week 1 when he won with Purple Steel, running the Doc aggro version, and now coming in here playing a much slower deck, but still fast all the same, and running Blurple. So really good job, Taylor. I love it. I love to see, this Blurple. It's a deck that I've really come to enjoy. I'm not necessarily high on the Gastons. I kind of like to go a different direction, but I understand the power of Gaston, and it's just really good. It's a 4/4/3 that also puts a card in your hand, and you can get other bad cards out of the way. So I think it's also just a very, very good card as well. So I love it. The list is great. The list is strong. You have those crabs in there to help you. Tipo plus crab is great against Churna Dogs, and then you have Fox for Churna Dogs, and just all kinds of nastiness in the list coming through. And I love it. It's just a well-rounded list that only has the one weakness, and that being Steel Song. But really good job. Next up on the list, we have Boommy, and Boommy was actually one of the members of the ICL team, taking first place with his, I'm going to say Hoffen. I think it's Hoffen. This is the shout out to Artibax and Lorcana decks, I believe. They put out this challenge of running 25 a pile, right? I believe Hoffen means a pile, and it's 25 cards, 25 different cards. So Boommy wanted to mess around with it. He said he did really, really well in Fight Club, right? But also took first place at his Set Champs with this list. And yeah, it's a pile. All right. So if you're looking to get in on that challenge, there's still two days left of Set Champs. He got first with this. He said the list has actually been really, really doing well. With that being said, Boommy is a very accomplished Steel Song player, so he just knows the deck really well. But I think yeah, give it a try. If you want to try the challenge, here's a really good Amber Steel list to try. So good job. Next up, we have Chaz the Defiant, another Flower Farm member. Flower Farm just kicking butt this last weekend. And we got his matchups here. His list though coming in here, a little bit, heavier on the top end, right? We have the 2 Cindy's and the 2 Sonic Warriors. So both good in their own right, both doing good things into different matchups. We're running the 1 Grab Your Swords because it is still good against Green Steel. I'm not a fan of it. I've talked about that tons and tons, but it's still good in its own right, and I'll never fault anyone for playing it, but I will poke, right? Just because I can. So next up, though, we are running the 4 Ursulas and the 4 Lawrences. When you're running this many Rapunzel targets, I do think Troubadour is just going to be better. That ability to just survive those characters with 1 attack. Troubadour survives a Tipo plus Grandma Tala, and that's amazing. Like, it survives a Crab plus broom, right? Not the +3 on the broom, but if there's a crab down and a broom down, they can't take out, so I just find that resist +1 to be extremely effective when you don't need that Rapunzel value as much. With that being said, you can set up traps really well with Ursula and Lawrence, but I don't know. I don't know how often that 1 extra card matters versus that character that stays alive questing for that 1 lore over and over and over again. But looking at the list, Purple Steel Doc went 0-2. It is a tough matchup. Like, it's a very aggro matchup, and if they see the right cards, the right bouncing of Docs and the right reach with the goats and the roses, like, it can be a very tough matchup when they just get going, and you can't wheel them because that just feels bad because you're just feeding them more reach, and meanwhile you're running out of resources. Meanwhile, they have all that. It's just a tough matchup. So Chernadog 2-0, Purple Steel Rabbit going 2-1. I do find that to be an easier matchup, right? Because you don't really care if they draw with Rabbit because you're just going to play Whole New World anyways. So their hand's a little bit bigger, so it feels a little bit better to Whole New World. Red Purple Evasive 2-0. Ruby Steel, the Mushu Challenge deck, going 1-1-1. So not an ID, just kind of ran out of time, it seems like. I'd be curious kind of what went down in that matchup, but he got his revenge, right? Ruby Steel Mushu going 2-0. And then unfortunately lost to Amber Steel Kristoff 1-2. And that deck is just kind of nutty. That Kristoff deck, when it pops off, it really pops off. I've been messing around with a super high rolly one with Mulans and Part of Your Worlds, and it's crazy what that deck can really do sometimes. But good job, Chaz. I love to see it. Way to represent the Flower Farm. Next up, we've got Kevin Zilka, another member of the Flower Farm, and doing a top 8 split. So they had, from what I understand, they had a pretty good prize pool, and they just split top 8. All right. So they said, let's go home. Let's not spend another 3 hours playing and take our prizes, and running, the Rabbit version, right? So this one, it's a little bit slower, but it's also it's a really good deck. It's better. I don't know. I'd be curious. I think it's going to be better into, red blue, to be honest. I'll have to ask JDRR later. He's the one that would know the answer. But personally, I think it'd be better into red blue. You have Merlin Rabbit plus Zeus to be able to answer those, those Maui half sharks, which is really good. You still have the reach with the white rose and the goats, which is really nice. I mean, the list is just, it's a good tempo list, like Purple Steel has always been. It's just a good tempo list that really rewards good gameplay. And yeah, I don't know. Purple Steel's kind of been the same for the longest time. And this one, the only new card we really see, I mean, Pete and Elsa, I think they came out in the same set, but Rose came out recently. So, I mean, but yeah, it just does the same thing Purple Steel has done now since I've been playing. So really good job, Kevin. I love to see it, and way to represent. Next up, we have Kale Storm, and I don't know if I can use your name, so I won't. but you took second and fourth. I love to see it. A member shot me this, this message, part of the Discord group. Again, what do I call my people, right? What do I call you guys? Are we the Mad Hatters? Lorcana runners, because I've started that challenge thing, but I know not everybody runs, so that's kind of weird. I don't know. But with your list, what really matters here is we're running blue-green, and I got to admit, I love this deck. I think it's so much fun because it's like putting a puzzle together, and I find this deck to be there's times where you're out, right, but you're really rewarded with thinking through everything. And uh, I don't know. I just find the gameplay style, I find playing this deck so rewarding when you get that win, because it's not a deck to get an easy win. Sure, you can high roll like crazy, right? You do this perfect thing where you shift Clarabelle on 5 and you sing You're Welcome with muses and make them draw 2, and then you bounce another card and you can just do crazy things, and then you bend to my will the next turn and it's game over. But the game, it just feels good when you win, because I don't think I just don't feel like it has any easy matchups, and you have to fight for every single one of them, kind of like Purple Steel. And I just enjoy that. Okay, it's a little bit slow. It's a very slow deck where a lot of things don't happen for a lot of turns, but it's a fun deck. And taking second and fourth, I think, is awesome. And it's cheap. I think this deck is probably $40, maybe $40. The most expensive card might be Clarabelle, probably just because it's a legendary. So give it a try. I mean, a lot of these cards are free anyways. Like Cloud Kicker, How Far I'll Go are both free if you went to League Nights and stuff. So it's a fun deck. Give it a try. Good job, man. Second and fourth place with what is not an easy deck by any stretch of the imagination. I love to see it. And yeah, I hope this weekend goes really well for you as well. Next up, we have Overlook, and this is a member of the Flower Farm, and huge shout out to him. He sent me this Discord message at the previous week 2 of Set Champs, and I totally missed it. So I was going through my messages. I saw I had this unread one, so I apologize, man, but I got you here. Taking second place with Blurple, and this one, he's opted to go 4 crabs. So he's opted to cut the Gastons completely, go heavy into the 4 crabs, helping against those Chernodog matchups, or really just any matchup, because sometimes Tipo just kind of sits there not doing much. When you don't run crabs, he can quest here and there, but do you want him to? So sometimes he can just awkwardly kind of sit there, but crab gives him, more life, right? It gives him more possibility to do things. So I love the list. Again, it's very reminiscent of what we saw earlier with Taylor Swift, except like I said, we cut the Gastons and just threw in 4 crabs. And yeah, we went up to 4 bells as well. So the list is just the generic kind of JDRR Blurple, but when I say generic, that's not a bad thing. It's just a very solid Blurple list. Like that's all there is to it. So really good job, man. I hope that Set Champs continues to go really well for you and you can secure that first place mat. Next up, we have Jav Monger taking, well, a Kristoff list. And this one, very different than mine, but I do love this one because it's consistent. Like I said, the version that I run is very high rolly. It runs the Mulans, it runs Part of Your World, it runs Be My Guest, and the whole point is to just high roll like crazy. You're looking to be my guest into the Kristoffs, or you're looking to use Mulan to use a bunch of songs, and Part of My World, all the Kristoffs and everything. And when it goes, it goes, and when it doesn't, you just kind of sit there and wait to see what happens. This list, though, very consistent. You have Simba and Mulan to cycle to the cards you want. Maybe you do get stuck on a bunch of Kristoffs and you don't want to do that, so you cycle that out, or you cycle out some songs you don't need. And you have the consistent singers, right? The Gastons to help you sing Whole New World, the Naveen for Whole New World. Not a whole lot of songs. I mean, we do have, well, let's count. 1, 2, 6, 10, 13, 16, 17, 18. I mean, still 19 songs. So 19 songs is, I don't know. I only run 20, so I guess 19 is fine. They're easy songs to use. I mean, World's Greatest Criminal Mind you can kind of use safely as long as you don't have Cinderella down. I love the one shift Ursula. It's helping you get rid of song you might not need. Meanwhile, you have this constant bare necessities effect going on. So I do love that ability coming in here. The ability to just be really annoying like that and just also get rid of a song that feeds into Kristoff. And then the one, look at this family, just searching for those two characters, searching for those two Kristoffs or Rapunzel or literally anything that you might possibly need. So I like the list. I think it's really fun. I think I'm going to have to give it a try just for the funsies of it, then see what it's like to play a more consistent version of Kristoff. But yeah, congratulations on first. I love to see it. Next up, we have Casik. Oh, geez. Casikwi? Queen, right? Casikwi. I'm gonna call him Christian, and he's in my Discord. He talks a lot in there. I really appreciate the guy. Huge shout out to him. In the Discord, we have all the set 8 deck list going on, lots of cooking going on, and he's always in there giving his thoughts and advice and things, and I love it. But he took second place at Set Champs with his version of the Purple Steel Zeus variant. He's running the bow, and he's running Pain, and he said he really likes Pain coming in really nicely, helping against those Steel Song decks. You're just that 1/3 is just really reliable, and then that 1/3 paired with a crab helps you answer, those Chernodog decks really well, and it lets you answer the Steel Song decks really well. Meanwhile, you have the bow that can go on Calhoun, and that feels really good. And any other hero in the deck, I don't know if, Elsa's probably a hero. It's a little blurry, but Elsa's probably a hero. Calhoun can use bow, I believe, but I'll look later and find out who all can. I probably should have known before, but that's okay. But yeah, so really good job on the second place. Really enjoyed Pain. I think, Pain, it's just a cool card. Of course, that can be, any other 1/3 that might exist that I don't know off the top of my head. But it's just a 1/3/1 that kind of survives for Fox or Crab to come in. And now Steel Song has to be worried about that potential possibility. Chernodog has to be worried about that potential possibility, things like that. So I love the list. I hope that, well, again, I appreciate all the insight you give on the Discord channel, and I hope that this last weekend goes well for you, man. You deserve it for sure. Next up, we do have Matt H, and another member of my Discord, or whatever we're going to be called. And for him, the list, it's a more of the typical Steel Song list that we've been seeing. We are opting to only run the 3 Zeus with the 4 Troubadours. So running one less song than you might normally see, but we go a little bit heavier on the top, and we're running the 2 Biancas and the 2 Aerial Sonic Warriors. So instead of running also something like Gaston, the Miss Bianca coming back, and Bianca is something that I've been testing for a few of my locals because Kiwi can be a tough deck for Steel Song to beat. And one thing that went really well before Hiram, rest in peace, was banned in Fortisphere was Miss Bianca. She really beat up Kiwi and Blue Steel. So I've been kind of playing around with trying her again, and it's been working really well. And she's just a great Rapunzel target. She's a great singer. And so, yeah, I get the appeal of throwing her back in. We have the aggro line of Daisy Duck into Smee into Lawrence, the one Naveen. So again, just a very, tough list. It's a very standard list that you kind of a standard list you might normally see, just with a couple tech options that took him to his first place finish. So congratulations, man. I'm glad it worked well for you. And again, good luck this weekend. Next up, we have Dreamborn Carlos, another member of the Flower Farm, taking first place with Red Purple. Ladies and gentlemen, it definitely still exists, all right? I know we're seeing it all over Facebook as well, but Red Purple's still just kicking butt, and it's an annoying deck to deal with as always. This version running the evasive route where you kind of have this really strong early game, this Queen of Hearts just being incredibly annoying, something you have to worry about. great crab targets. You have this Peter Pan, another card that you have to answer. If you don't answer Peter Pan, there's a good chance you're just going to lose, because now they can rush in with Genie. Even worse, they can rush in with Iago. And even worse than that, they can rush in with this Maui Half Shark. And now you have a 7-5 rush that's bringing you back, whatever you want. And that's not what you want at all. Meanwhile, we do earn the Maleficents, and this is not something you see in a lot of red purple decks or any. Carlos said normally when he sent me his list, it was actually titled JDRR. This is a big suggestion of his. And that Maleficent is kind of doing the same thing Tremaine does, but for a little bit more ink, you're taking out anything you want. And that's really powerful, because let's be honest, the red purple, it's getting up to those ink counts. It's getting up to 9, 10, 11 ink, because you're able to stay in the game for so long, especially when you do things like Peter Pan and Iago. They can answer red blue Maui Half Sharks, or when you can answer really anything, any misplay your opponent does, you can really, really punish them for that. And when you have Be Prepared to just reset the whole board, it can get really nasty. So you have time to play this really strong Maleficent and have this 7/5/2 that banishes any character. Meanwhile, you have the Mauis, you have the Pirate's Life to help finish things off, or to slow down aggro and things like that. The Finders Keepers, again, just drawing all these cards helps you beat the red blue decks. It keeps you in the game against Blurple, and that resource battle just really helps you win that, because you'll notice there's no rabbits, so you can't abuse those rabbit bounces, because, well, you're not running any bounce and you're not running any rabbits. So now the way to get those resources are Finders Keepers, Friends on the Other Side, and then if you can get some Mauis to bring those back, even better. So it's a really, really strong list. If you love red purple, this list is going to take you a long way with no weaknesses. In my opinion, I do not feel like red purple has a weak matchup. It does so well into everything. And it's just a challenging color pairing to play. And that's why we see so few people playing it right now. But when you look at the great red purple players, they consistently do well with red purple. And there's a reason they do so well with it. So huge shout out to Carlos. And next up on our list, we do have Space Ranger. We call him Co. We got Kevin over here. Huge shout out to him. Again, Kevin is the individual who had me sign his Prince Naveen, which is still just blows my mind. An amazing human being that's done some graphics for me. And running his list that we saw in week 1, unfortunately only taking 3rd place this time, but it happens to the best of us. And he loves his Grab Your Swords. He lives by it, loves his Naveens, loves his Piglets. So I love to see it, and a huge shout out to you, Kevin. And I hope that this last weekend treats you really, really well, because again, you deserve it. Next up, we have our Aggro Song, our set 7 tester. What this list is this is my Mines list that, I'll be honest, I haven't played a lot for a while, but my buddy Danelle here has, and he took 1st place with it after taking, I think he said he took 3rd and 4th, maybe 3rd and 5th previously, and took the 1st place. And by no stretch of the imagination wasn't an easy run for the day. Churnadog, which that just who aggro's faster, right? But you do have some advantages. You can sing that strength to take out those big cards. Green Steel discard 2-0. Again, Green Steel discard. Mines was built because of Green Steel discard, but at the same time, Green Steel discard really likes to beat up aggro decks. So not an easy matchup. DKP deck going 1-1 with no John Silvers. Really good. Discard again. ID against the Steel Song. Discard again. Steel Song and Churnadogs again for the 2-0. So really good job. I'm glad the list treated you so well, man. And it was bound to happen. Like I knew it would. You're just consistently doing well with the list. And yeah, I think the list is still going to do really well next set with some of the amazing tools that we're getting, like Tramp, which, yeah, really good in Amber Steel aggro. So, well, I finally did it. All right. The reason for this weird edit right here is because it turns out I was live streaming the past like 27, 28 minutes or whatever it was, and I thought I was recording. So for those of you that watched, when there was quite a few of you, I appreciate it. And I apologize that I was not interacting with the chat because I did not expect there to be a chat. But we did it. It's fine. That's the week 3 recap. All right. If you guys want to get your deck featured, whether you got ninth, whether you got top cut, whether you got first, I don't care. If you just want someone to congratulate or celebrate with you, send me your deck, okay? If you have ideas for what we should call everyone in my Discord, send me ideas. If you don't like the mat cutting thing or you do, let me know in the comments. But with all that being said, remember, nothing else matters more but staying happy and healthy. And I'll see you guys around until next time, all right?